It's Wednesday night, and this is what we're having for dinner. I just took some chicken breasts, cut them up, cooked them in the pan for a little while, got them out, and then I put in some onions and zucchini, fried them up, and put it all back together and made a teriyaki sauce with just soy sauce, garlic powder, onion powder. So what else did I put in there? Honey and brown sugar, and made a sauce. And then I have rice I'm eating with it. I made a yum yum sauce. All I did was put ketchup, mayonnaise, sugar, seasoned salt, and a little bit of vinegar. So that's what we're having tonight for Wednesday night. Hey, this is one of what's for dinner, but I'm eating it for breakfast because I grew up eating it for breakfast. I know it's kind of weird, but that's what my grandmother made us, and I love it. I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I had to open it upside down, sorry, with my can opener. So this is just some wild Alaska pink salmon from Aldi. And I make it the same way my grandmother makes it. So I'm going to show you how I make it, and she made it. So I've got that just sitting open, just opened it. I've got maybe 10 crackers crumbled up and an egg. I'm only going to put the liquid of the salmon in there. And depends on how runny it is. If it soaks up all the crackers, that's good. If it doesn't, I'll add some more. Okay, that's very soupy, so I'll probably add in 10 more crackers. Okay, I added about 20 crackers. It's not very runny, but it's not really thick either. But when you open up the can, there's probably going to be more of the juice from the can comes out. So you could add more. It just depends. You don't want it really dry. Okay, it comes out like this. And if you look in the middle, it's got skin. And it'll have like bones. They'll have the round bones. And it'll have like bones like you'd find in regular fish, a little spiky kind. Some people leave theirs in, some people take theirs out. I leave mine in and I just mash it up really good. And sometimes you might catch a bone that's not mashed up all the way, but they're very soft, and if you eat one, it's not gonna do anything, hurt you. Okay, let me stir this up and I will be back. Okay, it's mixed up and it's not soupy, it's not thick, it's just kind of in between. And I mash it up really good so you don't see any skin, all you see is the fish and the crackers. But I'm sure you could use breadcrumbs. I've used other stuff, but it just doesn't taste the same to me. And my grandmother, I don't remember her ever putting salt in there or anything like that, so I don't put salt in it. I just make it like this. You could probably put onion in it. Some people use different things, but this is just good to me, and this is the way I like it. But she usually just scooped it up with a spoon, made little spoonfuls and put it in the oil. But I like to just grab it with my hand and just make a patty out of it, like a hamburger patty. So I've got some avocado oil heating up, so I'm going to patty these up and put them in the pan, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, this is what they look like going into the pan. The salmon is fully cooked, but there's an egg in there, so I'm going to cook it till it's brown on both sides. And sometimes when you patty it out, you might find a bone that's not crushed up, and I just crush it up with my fingers. There's a couple in there. I don't know if you can see. It's right there. Maybe two. But that doesn't bother me because they're so soft. So let these cook for a little bit. Flip them over, and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, I flipped them and this is what they look like on the other side. That's just the perfect color, I think. So I'm just going to let them cook on the other side for just a couple minutes and they'll be done. And we also always had rice with it, but it has to be milky rice. Rice was just salt and butter and with some milk. Usually she used canned milk, but since I just had regular milk in the refrigerator, and I just used some instant rice. I need to start cooking with the whole rice, but this is just so convenient. But I'm hoping to do a video one day where I open my Instant Pot after it's been sitting in my closet for 2 years and I haven't used it because I have just a stovetop one that I like. So hopefully I'm going to be doing that one day and I can cook my rice in it. It'll be just as fast. And we usually make it with biscuits. And I've had a biscuit fail today. I don't have any biscuits, so I just use Bisquick, and I don't like the drop biscuits, so I use the recipe for the drop biscuits just in a pinch, and I just rolled them out, and they are actually good, but they were in there too long and got really brown and crispy, but they taste good. But we usually had it with biscuits and with peas and rice. So in a few minutes they will be done. I also just made more than 4. I just didn't want to crowd the pan, so I'll probably have another 2 more that I'll cook. So it's plenty of food for a family. Okay, so I've got my salmon and my rice on my plate. This made 6. So pretty good. Those are pretty large. And those are almost done. I have my rice and it thickens up too. So this is what I'm having for lunch. And I know I said I was eating breakfast, but by the time I got all this cooked, it's almost lunchtime anyway, so I guess this is brunch. We are having Mahi Mahi. I've never had it before. It's the first time I've had it, or I've cooked it, and I tasted it. It was pretty good. I just seared it on both sides with some avocado oil. I fried it until it was done. I put some lemon juice and garlic in the pan. And just salt and pepper. It tastes really good. I air fried some potatoes. All I did was cut the potatoes up. I did mix some ranch in there, ranch powder and olive oil and garlic and onion powder. And those turned out really good. Probably a little bit overcooked, but I either overcook or undercook in the air fryer. I haven't gotten up to speed with it yet for a lot of food, so, but it was pretty good. And here I put that in the air fryer, the asparagus, and I used the oil and the spices for the potatoes, and I used it for the asparagus. So I haven't tried it yet. Hopefully it's good. I made a salad. It's just romaine, onions, cucumbers, and carrots. And I made ranch dressing, the Hidden Valley, and I'm going to have some of this blue cheese. I like this. My husband doesn't like blue cheese, so he's going to have the ranch, and I'm going to have the blue cheese. It's really good. So that's what's for dinner. Tonight we're going to have a spatchcock chicken, if that's how you say it, spatchcock, where you just take the backbone out and it just lays flat. And I've got one of these chickens. This is the other one from Sam's Club, the non-GMO frying chickens. So it's the first time I've ever had one like this, so we'll see if it tastes better than a regular one. But I took the backbone out. I just cut, you know, when you have a chicken, you'll see it has a little tail, and I just cut just on each side of that little tail. You could use scissors, but I just cut the backbone out. So now if you'll just flip it over, and you just kind of press on it, and you hear that crack, then that kind of breaks the bone in there, and it'll lay flat. So I'm gonna season the chicken, and and put it in the oven. The chicken's cold, so I'm going to leave it out for a little bit, maybe 20 minutes while my stove preheats. And I'm going to take some butter and just some spices, and I'm just going to mix them all together and just rub it underneath the skin. And I'm going to use a cast iron skillet, so I just put some oil on there just so the skin won't stick. And I'll probably put some vegetables on there. But right now I'm just going to put this in the oven and let it heat up while waiting on the chicken to warm a little bit. You don't want the chicken to be too cold. And I'm loosening up the skin, and I'm going to put the butter. I got butter and a little avocado oil, onion powder, garlic powder, some lemon pepper, and some parsley flakes, and I'm going to put that underneath the skin. So I'm going to just take my hand and get under there and just try and get my hand up there as far as it'll go without breaking the skin, because I want to put that butter, get it all underneath. Because why put all the seasoning on here when it's just going to be on the skin and it's not going to penetrate the meat that much? So I like to put it up underneath there. And then I'll put it on the other side. Yeah, some people don't like to get their hands in a chicken, but I don't mind it. And then I'm going to try and get my hand up in there too and get up underneath the leg so it'll have as much flavor as possible. Okay, I have my skillet in the oven. I took it out. I put my potatoes in there, and I laid some onions in there. I put some lemon pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. The lemon pepper has plenty of salt, so I don't need any of that. So I'm going to put my chicken on top of the vegetables like this. Sorry. And make sure everything fits. I'm gonna tie these back behind it. Or not tie them, I'm just gonna stick them back there, and I'm gonna put it in the oven at 425 for about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm gonna check the temperature in the thigh, and it has to be 165. Okay. We're way over 165. So this thing is done. I'm making Brussels sprouts with my chicken. I like to make them in the pan instead of in the oven. Just take my Brussels sprouts, put the oil, salt and pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder, of course, what I always use. And just put them in there and put some color on them. And then after they cook for a few minutes, I'll put water in there and put a lid on there. And then all the water cooks out, and then they'll start to get some more color on them. Now they're done, so we're waiting on the chicken. Okay, it's out of the oven. I'm going to test the temperature of the breast and see what. It's 165. 170, so we're good. So it's done, and I'm going to let this rest. Probably should have got it out a little bit sooner, but that's the story of my life. But we'll let it rest, and I'll take it out of the pan, and we'll look underneath and see the potatoes and see what everything looks like. Okay, here's the finished product. I'm letting it rest on the cutting board. That's what the potatoes look like, and the onions are caramelized on the bottom. They cooked in all the chicken fat, so hopefully they'll be really good. And there's my Brussels sprouts, which I'll be eating, and Doug won't be eating because he doesn't like Brussels sprouts, but I'll make salad from the other night and probably heat up the asparagus for him. So that's what's for dinner. Hey, this is what we're having for dinner tonight. Leftovers. Leftover salad. Brussels sprouts. Got a little too done. Potatoes and onions from last night. And chicken. And some potatoes and asparagus and mahi mahi from the night before. So we're having a just a free-for-all night, just clean out the fridge night. So that's what's for dinner.